Does this sound familiar? You meet a man who tells you you're beautiful, brilliant, and the woman he's dreamed of all of his life. Then he showers you with phone calls, text messages, flowers, dinner dates, and passion. Passion like no man has ever given you before. It's what I call his love tsunami. You may not be that sure of him in the beginning, but you're loving his attention and affirmation of how wonderful you are. Sure, it's all a bit fast and furious, but eventually, because you so long for love, you begin to believe he's sincere. Finally, you trust that this fantasy is real, so you hand him your heart and life, and that's the moment when he begins to leave you. In my book's chapter on commitment phobic men, Mr. Right versus Mr. I'll be right back, this man's name is Michael. Michael's commitment phobia was birthed by a mother too busy to emotionally bond with her son. That's how Michael's brain never learned to bond with a woman. Michael gives all the signals that he truly wants love. He dates often, he wines and dines each woman like he's a love pro. He professes to his friends that he wants to marry, and to prove it, he's been engaged 3 times. He once even came frighteningly close to the wedding day. Imagine being his future bride as he confessed the devastating news that he didn't love you anymore. And this confession he gave you a whole 36 hours before he was to promise you till death do us part. In Michael's mind, this was only fair. Despite all appearances to the contrary, Michael's mission is not love, but conquest. With absolutely no warning, you and every other woman who trusted him only knows that suddenly he doesn't call when he says he will. He doesn't arrive when he says he will. He begins to find fault with you. He begins to avoid you. You, of course, he keeps in the dark as to what happened and why. But the same man who last week swore he could not live without you now makes excuses while he walks, runs, or sneaks out of your life. If you're alive and breathing, you have run into at least one Michael at some point in your life. The vast majority of my clients are grieving their own commitment phobic Michael episode. When they first come to me, many of them are convinced through the books they've read or the friend's advice that they are doing something to attract these losers. If you are like so many women who believe that you are the problem, that you need to change, who knows what, because why else do you keep attracting frogs? Then I want to offer you a different take on why your love life cycles from one heartbreak to the next. What if the truth is that men who know how to love stay in loving relationships? I mean, what woman would let that man go? The men who don't know how to love are everywhere else, including the dating sites you're on and your friendly neighborhood watering hole you visit. I mean, if you had a wonderful man, would you let him go? Of course not. That's not to say there's no hope for finding your prince among all the frogs. I know they're out there because when my clients become clear on what and who they deserve and live in their power, they attract their prince. Lessons to be learned. Number 1, how well his mother loved him then greatly impacts how well he will love you now or not. Number 2, when it feels too good to be true, sister, trust that. And number 3, you are already worthy of being respected, valued, and loved beyond your dreams. When your friends tell you that you're attracting losers because there's something wrong with you, remember there are just more frogs than princes available to us. But my clients learn how to raise the bar on their relationships. They now know how to attract men who respect their power and their wisdom. It's time to start passing by those commitment-phobic men, not equipped for the quality of relationship you seek and deserve. Like Michael, their brain is not equipped for long-term relationships. That's why we call them commitment-phobic men. But when my clients embrace their power and that they are worthy of a man who is worthy of them, they find a man who eagerly embraces love that lasts a lifetime.